Tomorrow is a special game for you. Tomorrow you go head-to-head with Liverpool, two of Europe's big teams. How do you approach it? It's a classico of European football. Liverpool, because of their history, because they're in the Champions League. It's one of those games that the fans really look forward to seeing. And Trent and myself have our history here at Liverpool. And it's always great to come to a place where they've loved you so much. We're coming to do our thing tomorrow, which is to play well and to come away with a good result. Last year, Mbappe missed a penalty, and he said that he wasn't playing well. And now he's unstoppable. He can't stop scoring. You said you like your players to score penalties, to take their penalties. Are you going to be more strict tomorrow in terms of who takes the penalty? Are you going to give them the freedom to decide? No, I said it in the press conference. We decide upon who is the penalty taker. In this case, it's Kylian's chance to take the penalty, but they will decide also. You've spoken about Trent, who's played here. He has been injured, and now he's come back. He wasn't in the squad and wasn't involved in the last game. Do you feel like he's getting into his flow now, or is he missing something? No, he's good. He didn't play because of the context of the game, but he's available to play any number of minutes. Tomorrow he may play. And then after the injury he had, we need his qualities. He has great qualities. He's in a new stage for him, both sporting and physically and mentally. We need to give him what he needs because he's an exceptional player that we have in our squad. I'd like to know, in the 5 years that you were here, you won a European Cup, you were fighting for the league title. You obviously were here with Rafa Benitez. How has all this influenced your career as a manager to take decisions on a daily basis? A lot, because it wasn't just a simple step. I had a long period as a player. I learned a lot from Rafa when I was with him about elite football, to analyse details, to prepare for games. And I always had that curiosity. And that helped me to be in this position where I am right now. And then if you like football, you want to be at one of Europe's big teams like Liverpool are. And there were some great years that I had at Liverpool. And they helped me a great deal as a player, but I'm sure they also helped me as a manager too. I remember many things from that period which I still use today. It's been so much harmony with your recent victories. You've only scored 1 goal from set piece this year. Can you explain the reasons for this? Or have you looked at that? You have players that can take good set pieces. And then Arbeloa said yesterday, I'd like to know what you think it's fair that the mark that he gave for your performance so far. You've asked quite a number of questions there. It needs to be one question in future. Or the second. I don't give myself a mark. Alvaro, we know he's very connected to the club. I'm really happy with Alvaro, my player, the way he's playing. I'll give him the mark back because he's playing really well at the moment. There's a long way to go. We give the final marks in June. We're working on this. We're working on set pieces, in answer to your second question. You know Anfield very well, and you know that many times a volcanic atmosphere is created. How can you fight against that, knowing that you're a manager now? What do you say to the players when they're coming into this stadium? There are some crazy minutes that happen in this stadium. What do you say to them? I think many of them have already experienced it. Recently or in a negative context most recently, but maybe not in the past. There are moments in the games where it's almost like there is a force that where the stadium is vibrating, and it can help the home team very much. These are players who know when it's heavily charged atmosphere. They know how to respond well. I really believe in my players. We can talk about it as well, but it's just the players that go onto the pitch. I'm on the bench, and sometimes you lose control of the game, but you have to try and prepare them mentally for these types of games. That's really important. And then the quality, the footballing quality, and then the personality of these players will be determining. We are going over who's taking the penalties for Real Madrid. Mbappe, Vinicius. You have an interesting history at this club, because Gerrard always took the penalties here, but in the Champions League final in 2005, he didn't take the penalty, but he was on the pitch. Why did you take that penalty? And was that your first professional penalty? You're well informed. I'm sure that a few of the English colleagues remember this, but we'd already got through to the final, and the last game of the league we played against Tottenham, and Steven Gerrard missed that penalty. And then a week later, we played the Champions League final, and Rafa assigned either me or Harry Kewell to take that penalty. Harry Kewell wasn't on the field when we got the penalty, so it was my turn to step up, and I'd never taken a professional penalty in my career. On the rebound, I managed to convert the penalty, and it changed my history as a player, because if I'd not converted that penalty, it wouldn't have been 3-3. I think you remember what happened in that final after that. Hi, Xavi. Last year, you came here to Anfield. Could you tell us, how do you experience these revisits to these stadiums? But inside, how are you feeling about this return to Anfield? Do you let yourself get carried away with nostalgia, or do you control yourself? I try to not allow the emotions to overcome me too much, to be focused on the game in the same way that we prepare for all games. That doesn't change my preparation, my connection with the players, what we need to do, and then beyond that, what will happen. But at the beginning, you have to distance yourself from the emotion. I need to think about whatever stadium I go to, where I've had a connection in the past, you try to distance yourself a little bit so you can be more focused in looking in what I have to do as a manager for my team.
Wirtz very well. He's adjusting to a new league here, and you know about that. Do you think he will be a success at Liverpool?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I have no doubts. It could be just a matter of time. For sure, it's a big change for him to come here to Liverpool after so many years in Germany, his whole life, and few years in Leverkusen. He needs to adapt, but he's really special player. He has the quality, he has the personality, he's competitive. So when he makes that tweak, it has happened with great players during the years in the Premier League. And I have no doubts with Flo. He was so special, and probably one of the reasons that I am here is because of Flo. So I am thankful for him, and hopefully not tomorrow, but we are looking forward that he starts showing his quality and his class.
Hi, Xabi. You just spoke there about when you return to a former club, you take the emotion out of it, or try to. Have you spoken to Trent specifically about that? Because obviously, towards the end of his career here, he has some bad reactions from the fans, and chances are he might get it again tomorrow.
No, we haven't talked about that precisely. We have talked about the team, about the club, but he has his own feelings, and he has to enjoy it as well his own way. So I'm not gonna tell him how he needs to feel it. For sure, his history is a little bit different from mine. He's born and bred in Liverpool. I remember him from young age in the academy after coming for the first team, winning the Champions League. So he deserves to enjoy that moment because it's nice to be back, and for him it's gonna be nice.
Hola Xavi, aquí al fondo Nico Díaz Menéndez para Televisión.
It was surprising that you trained in Madrid and not here. Did you think that perhaps when you see training sessions and something can be taken from them? No, I also did that at Leverkusen. It's not something that I've changed. It's just the way I feel it's better to prepare the game. Not because I'm suspicious of anything or any conspiracy theories or anything like that. It's just the way that I prepare the game. And if I do it in Bayevas, we could control things a little bit better. Here, maybe we're giving clues to our opponents. I don't think it would be the most intelligent thing to do, to train here. Carlo Ancelotti has just spoken in Brazil. Ancelotti has spoken about the international date. He mentioned Vini as well. He said, I spoke to Vinicius. And he said he committed an error with Xabi Alonso. I don't know if people in football have seen what we all saw. I've already spoken about the issue with Vinicius. I think it was really important that we spoke about it on Wednesday. Important that he spoke to his teammates about it. And it was just left and underlined after that and finished. We don't want it to happen again. And it was closed. The chapter was closed. And that's where it stayed. 2 final questions. We're seeing in this Champions League, in this league phase, lots of goals in each game. In fact, there was a 4-goal average per game in the last round of games. When you're going into games like this and you've had very tight victories, do you think about the tension, not allowing yourself to be relaxed when you feel that a game is won? Does it make you feel more concentrated? Yes, you have to be focused at all times. Against Juventus, it was a really tight game. The objective was to win the game. But when you have the opportunity to extend the scoreline, they're really good opportunities to score goals, because you know that after our experience of last year, because we didn't really know how the format was going to be resolved, you understand that the most powerful teams are getting more points in those first round of games. And I think they will find themselves in the top 8 or top 12s. And we're learning about this format. And we know that when we have the opportunity to score goals, we have to be decisive to get the 5th or the 6th or the 7th goal. Because the idea is to get as high as you possibly can in this table. And it changes when you're at 8th or 9th position in the league. The other day, you made it clear that your penalty taker was Kylian Mbappe. If there's a foul just outside the area, who would you like to take it? Kylian Mbappe? Or we have many that can take those free kicks. Kylian is one of those. But they have to decide that on the field. We guide them. And we know that there are other players that can take free kicks, depending on how far out it is or the profile of that free kick. And